Hello, my name is Peter Parfitt. Welcome to the new Brit workshop. As a consequence of my workshop tour video, I've had a number of questions, and so I'm going to answer them in this follow-up video. And the first question was about this, which is a takeoff via this tubing from my dust hub, and I've got it set up next to my pillar drill. Now, I put this here in part to serve the pillar drill so that I could have a flexible bit of pipe, which I haven't got yet, here, and then I can take away any dust that's being created. I sometimes put a bobbin sander on this pillar drill, and so that would be quite useful. But the main reason was so I could run other tools from this area, and in particular use this space to use things like this Festool CMS table saw or my Festool router. And the way this works is quite simple. If you look here, you'll see a power lead, which is an extension which goes all the way over to this socket here. And I've only put that in the last day or two since making the original workshop tour video. So now, whenever power is drawn from this socket, then the Festool CT26 extractor, which is behind the wall there, will start automatically. And at the same time, because the blast gate here, which goes up to the tubing above, out of picture now, and down to here, then I'm getting the vacuum support for whatever tool is sitting here. Now, I've actually found this works very well because I've got my little table saw now set up in this area. I've got a reasonable amount of floor space now next to it, and then I've got my mitre station over there. Now, previously I'd been using the port there for the table saw, which was a bit of a nuisance, but now I've got it out of the way over here. It's much better. And then I've got room over here for my mobile bench and my MFT3. So it's all covered, really. Then the next thing I was asked about was this, which is a featherboard arrangement which I've made up that works beautifully with either the CMS table saw or the CMS router table. And I'm going to show you how I made this. Now, the components of this are quite simple. I'll first remove this part so that I can tell you what this is. This is the angle stop that came with my Festool MFT3. And normally in here would be the long piece of aluminium which forms the fence used with the MFT3. Now, in order to get something that fits along here, I got hold of some T-track, and this is some Incra T-track which I got in the UK from the Woodworkers Workshop. I'll put the details of it on the screen so you can see. And I've cut a piece off which is just the right length for the angle stop. And then I've taken an interface piece of wood here, and I've screwed it on with some screws from the inside of the T-track. Then next we have this featherboard, and this was a very cheap and cheerful featherboard which I bought from Axminster Power Tools so long ago that I don't even know if they still do it. But just take a look at that, and it can be turned over so that it's going in the right direction for whatever you want to use it for, and it's made of plastic. And in order to fix that to the interface piece of wood, I've just put some screws in through here and through here, and because this is slightly bendy, I managed to get my screwdriver in, and so that's now held as one. Now, all you now do is take the angle stop and feed this on, secure it in place here with that knob. So we now have the featherboard fixed to the angle stop. And I can now put this whole thing onto the side of my CMS unit here and hold it in place by screwing that knob. And I can adjust it fore and aft. There's a screw, it's out of sight for you now, but you undo a little knob here and you can move it to and fro. And then when it's in the correct position according to what you're about to do, you just tighten up the knob just there, and then away you go. Now, I've got this set up for rebate work. It's not something that's in the Festool manual, and if you attempt to do this, you do so entirely at your own risk. Now, I've also been asked about what drawer runners I use on my various benches, my mobile bench and the other one. Well, these are cheap and cheerful ones which I've got from Screwfix. And I say cheap and cheerful, I think they've gone up to about £9 a pair. But even so, that's still, in relative terms, quite good value. And they give a pretty smooth drawer opening and closing, as you see. But for this TV stand that I'm making, which has got 4 drawers, 2 at the top, 2 at the bottom, I'm going to be using some proper drawer runners, and these are made by Accuride, and they're pushed to open, so that I won't need to have any drawer handles on here, but all I do is push the drawer front and it'll open a bit so that it can then be opened all the way. And that's a rather nice mechanism. And finally, someone's noticed that I've put a new top onto the mobile workbench here. And the way they spotted it was because of this piece of sapele. That's there because I've joined 2 pieces of MDF together. When I eventually have this set up for doing sawing, then my saw kerf will fit into that piece of sapele. I'm putting a new top on here because I want a new pattern of holes, and I'll eventually be making a video about that and explaining just how I go about doing that. That'll be quite an important video when it comes out. Well, that's it for this short catch-up video. Thank you very much for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.